Jeremiah chapters 4 and 13. Behold, he shall come up as a cloud, and his chariot shall be as a whirlwind. His horses were swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. Our praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai Ba'ashem, Harakah Kodash, double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and shouts to all the sincere elect out there. This is going to be the cry of our UEs, right? And the Goyim nations and the wicked around people. That's what you're going to be crying at, right? Because Yahushua's return is nigh. Yahushua's return is nigh. And we're going to get into some of this a former NASA scientist, because I was watching the live of Elder Apostle Gobar and the Elder Tazad Akbar, and they made a mention of something that we may have heard of this, and but it's come forward now with a little bit more weight. NASA, so this is taken from the People Voice. NASA scientists saw 7-foot tall aliens. They are tall, black, and look like African Americans. So let's get into some of this, and we're going to funnel everything through the scriptures, because every year, and it seems as though anytime we do see the chariots, it's like they're getting closer and closer and closer. They're coming back, right? The Most High, Yahweh, and his angels, his army, because he's the host of the army, and he musters up the battle. So let's read on. Dr. Norman Bigrun, a respecter, and he musters up the battle. What we're going to go into now. How does he muster up the battle? Let's go into it. Respected and aerospace engineer has broken decades of silence to detail an astonishing encounter involving what he describes as a mile-long aircraft, hundreds of extraterrestrials beings. If we did see this interview, you can find it, but you really got to search for it. When he was Norman Bigrun was being interviewed by that woman, and he has a pass which only allows about 25 of the highest Secret Service, and he looks like he's getting on in years. And when he was explaining it, but this is he came out a little bit further, and he went into it a little bit more. So we heard of that interview with the E. It looks like a Edomite. And that white woman, and we saw the body language when he was describing what he saw. The man looked like he's getting shook, he's getting old and grey, and he's getting shook and he's getting weary, which represents the E's are getting weary and shook. The body language when he was describing the two black men, who look like African Americans, his body language is like he didn't know what to do with himself. So let's carry on reading the article. It says, right, hundreds of extraterrestrial beings, right? That's how they described him. According to Bigrun, the incident occurred during a classified military operation, details of which have been buried under layers of national security. Yeah, he has a high security. He was saying himself, Norman Bigrun, a high security pass that only 25 people are allowed to access. So he's a top security Secret Service or scientist, stroke Secret Service, stroke scientist. And so according to Bigrun, the incident occurred during a classified military operation, details of which have been buried under layers of national security for decades. The ship is the ship he alleges touched down on U.S. soil at a remote Air Force installation where witnesses now either deceased or sworn to security were stunned by what unfolded. All right. Bigrun describes the beings that exited the craft, the beings that exited the craft as a black race of extraterrestrials around 7 feet tall, muscular, and with the bearing of a warrior class that had the look of conquerors who have never been conquered. Yeah, I've heard that, and that sounds about right. Many scriptures be circulating in my mind when you hear about they had a look of conquerors who had never been conquered, right? Because the Most High, Exodus chapters 15 and 3, he's a man of war, and he hosts up the muster up the hosts of the battle, right? And these are the angels. They look like they've never been conquered, right? But that's because they have never been conquered. The Most High and his host of armies, Yahweh Sabaoth, have never took a L, right? Never took a L. Pure is pure W's. Never took a L. So he stated in a rare interview there was a kind of arrogance in their walk. These were not greys, nor little green men, right? So this blows that rubbish out the water, all the lies and deflections that they've been saying, right? All these what they call them physicists and so-called people who claim they've seen them, and we've seen the movies as well. The movies who scripted them, making them look like little little Elmos with big heads and big eyes and can't talk. You know, the E.T. You know, if you saw the movie E.T., they're saying they always try to make them look like they're stupid, can't talk, can't walk. They wiggle when they walk. And in the E.T. movie, the little boy I had to put him on the bike and take him everywhere, take the little E.T. everywhere he went. But they had a look of conquerors, right? This is the real look of the so-called ETs or the extraterrestrials. These are the angels of the Lord, right? They had a look of conquerors who had never been conquered. He stated in a rare interview there was a kind of arrogance in their walk. These were not greys, no little green men. These were beings of power. And just reading it, I'm getting a sense of that the power that they aired. They had an air of power. You get a sense of power that they put out. Right? So these were beings of power. The shocking racial specificity of Bigran's account. The shocking racial specificity of Bigran's account has raised eyebrows and sparked heated debate in UFO circles. They wanted him to look. They want the angels to look like who that guy, the what they call that little guy, man? Little angels, naked angels with wings and all of that. It escapes me. You saw the images, the arts, little angel with naked with wings on them. That's how they wanted the angels to look. So that's why it's saying it's sparkled. Racial specificity of Bigran's account has raised eyebrows and sparked heated debate in UFO circles, with some speculating that the US government has long been aware of multiple extraterrestrial races, some possibility more humanoids than others. Some possibly more humanoids than others. Bigran's is no fringe crank. They probably was trying to paint him with that brush as well, saying he must be going mad. But here it's what he's saying. He's no crank. A pioneer in spacecraft engineering and fluid system control. He played key roles at Lockheed Martin and NASA Army's Research Center. His work is roll stability laws helped stabilize early missile systems, and he was instrumental in a thermal ice prevention design still in use today. So they tried to palm him off. They can't palm him. He's a high-level scientist or a high-level physicist or an intelligent person, what they call he's a credible witness. So they can't palm him off so easily. He also oversaw testings for the Polaris underwater launch missile system and was a key analyst in satellite deployment strategies, positions that would have given him direct access to classified aerospace intelligence. Yeah, that's it, classified. So he's on a high classification, right? A high pass that only few Secret Service members may have, maybe even higher than them. His 1986 book, Ringmakers of Saturn, stunned the community with his assertion that massive clinical UFOs were harvesting material from Saturn rings. Even decades later, images from Cassini and Voyager seem to support the possibility of artificial magnostructures lurking in Saturn's orbits. With the crowning, I'll read on. Not gonna finish off. Couple more, and then we're gonna hit the precepts to back it up. With the growing curious of whistleblowers, including former intelligence officers and military pilots, Big Run's claims add weight to its disturbing possibility. Humanity may already be in contact with multiple extraterrestrial civilizations. Those encounters may not always be friendly. I've seen documentaries where they've tried to shoot them down and they end up getting shot down themselves. They return the fire on them. They try to shoot down the chariots, and the chariots have got ways of dodging them, letting them phase through them, returning the missiles on them, right? Lasering some of them, I've done videos on it, and turning them into stone, right? Which is lasering, drying them up via the concentrated fire, laser. So they've had contact, not successfully. Brief contacts, not very successful. Not to mention all the ancients as well. The ancients, they tried with Moses when he was led by fire, a pillar by day and a fire by night. So there's been ancients and to name a few, there's been a lot of contacts, and like the statement they made, the angels look like they've never been conquered. It's because they have never been conquered. So that's a true statement, and it goes all the way back, right? The Alahayim, which are the angels, which we were there, right? The Alahayim in Genesis book of 1 and 2, right? They have never been conquered. They played a big part in creating the earth. Mosai gave the Yahushua and the angels, the Alahayim, in the beginning, Bara'asha in the beginning, when the angels were given the blueprint to form the earth, and the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the different types of lights, and all the animals. We keep making mention of that because it's the foundation of the scriptures, the beginning, the Bara'asha. So they have never been conquered. That's true. Let's carry on reading. The U.S. government, for its part, continued to release dribes and drabs through Pentagon programs like AAARO and UAP, some of the names. Task Force befriends, but Big Run's account suggests a deliberate cover-up. Yep, they're covering it up. Spanning generations with an agenda of security and control. Some in the truth movement believe this. This is a movement that they coined this, which is there's only one truth, but in their movement believe this black race of extraterrestrials may tie unto ancient astronauts' theories that powerful non-human beings once ruled Earth and could be returned. I spoke about that in Genesis. The Alahayim, the angels. Big Run put it, these weren't visitors, these were rulers, and they hadn't come back to negotiate. All right, that's true, because we're going to get into the scriptures. Whether we believe his history or not, one thing is clear: the walls of cranking disclosure of cracking disclosure is no longer a question of it, but how much they will admit before it's too late, right? So you want to look at the article, right? The people voice. So, right, let's get the precepts to back it up. He's come forward, he's made this statement, and it's becoming more worldwide. Now, let's get it from the true statement. And that was an eyewitness, somebody who had a high classification, an eyewitness, a credible witness. So I opened with this one, Jeremiah 4, right? Because the angels, yes, they look like they've never been conquered. And they're coming, they're returning. And they've seen, according to the physicists or the scientists or those that be looking up into the sky, saying they've seen what look like a massive orb that is approaching Earth 135 at 135 miles per hour. So not only scientists back it up, let's read now. We're going to get the scriptures. Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariot shall be as a whirlwind. His horses were swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. Right? That's what they're going to be saying. They're saying it now. Right? The heathens are shook. Jeremiah chapters 10 and 2. The heathens are dismayed, but we're not dismayed. Right? We know what's coming. Right? We know the stage is set. They're setting the stage. They're trying to put us back, tag us and bag us, and we keep talking about it, which is going to be the MOTB. First, they're going to set the stage with all these other apps and devices, the digital currency, and then they're going to try and basically put us back in slavery. And they're going to be able to do it to certain amounts of us, the ninjas of us, the 2/3, because that's their punishment for being wicked. But the elect are preserved, right? So this is what we're seeing. These are credible statements, and we're getting the scriptures now to back it all up, right? The credible statements from Norman Bigron, the scientists, the physicists, with a high credibility, credible witness. Now let's hit Isaiah 66 and 15. It says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. Yeah, he's angry, right? And the angels, the angels are strutting, man. You just get the idea, the picture in your mind. The angels are strutting, walking around, right? When they came on the strip, the airport, they were strutting, walking around, letting them know, giving them a little glimpse of what's to come. They've never been conquered. Yeah, you see this? They're saying, you see this, yeah? Don't test. That's what they're saying. You see what you see what we're putting down? Don't test. That's what they're saying. That's the body language that they were giving off. Right, so it's true. That is very true. So let's hit another precept. Isaiah. While I'm here getting my little see the dog just passed there, getting my breathe on. Isaiah 19 and 1 says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come unto Egypt. Right, because Egypt now is America. Right, it's on the back of the dollar bills. Right, they got all the symbolisms, and we were in slavery in Egypt, and here it talks about we're back in Egypt now, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. We're going to return back into Egypt. So this is what it's talking about. Come unto Egypt, and so the angels are coming unto Egypt, right, which is Babylon all over again, right, symbolically. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved as at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Right, their armies gonna melt. Right, the military, the American military. Right, and they're otherwise described as the beasts. Right, all over again, the revived Romans, and their military gonna melt. Right, and they're melting now. They're shook now. Right, so that's true. So the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth. Yeah, the Lord rideth. Yeah, man, we're going to make that point. Rideth upon a swift cloud, and that's what's exactly when we're seeing him, right? And that the ultimate return is when Yahushua returns, right? who hosteth the battle. Yahushua, Isaiah, I think it's 63 or 62, right? He says that his anger burneth in his heart. So he's definitely anger. He's gonna lead the charge. And symbolically, his white garment, symbolically, is going to be drenched in blood, which represents what he's going to do when he returns. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So the point done made, we're going to hit this one. Haggai. Haggai chapters 2 and 22 says, and I will overthrow the throne of the kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms, of the heathens. And I will overthrow the chariots. This is worded differently in my new Bible. The chariots and those that ride in them, right? That's their military, their army, right? The beasts, right? Their powers, right? Their teeth, which also represents power. Right? Overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses. Horses represent power, and their riders, right? Their military, their horses, shall come down, everyone by the sword of his brother, right? So basically, this is what is going to take place. Most are going to take away their strength, right? The strength of the heathen, their military, that's their strength. That's what we're talking about right here. So that's really the point. The scriptures that I wanted to bring out. There's some more, but I can bring out this one as well. Revelation 5 and 10, it says, and has made us unto our God kings and priests. I thought about this precept to bring this one out, because the way that they was walking, they were strutting around, the Most High's angels, strutting around like they own the place, because they do. They created it, right? Under Yahushua, and Yahushua under Yahweh, the Most High. So they are. We're gonna be reigning as kings and priests. The angels, the Elohim, they was walking around like they own the place, because they have authority and they have power, and they're just letting them know. That's exactly what they're doing. Letting them know that Yahweh Yahushua is about to take back the planet in which He made. Right? That's why they were walking around like that. Let's hit another one. Revelation chapters 19 and 11 says, and I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, right? Because the Most High going to come is going to destroy their power, their military, right? And the white horse, behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war, right? That's Yahushua. It's talking about Yahushua. So, and the white horse represents purity, right? As we know, and the horse represents power. So Yahushua coming back on the horse, pure and power, with power, right? So that represents, and also the horses are the chariots, which are fueled in power, via power. They don't need no fuel. They're just fueled via the spirit of the Lord, Yahushua. So that's Yahushua coming back to make war with his host of armies, the angels, which we saw a glimpse of them. Norman Big Ron described it, and just to give you an idea, right? So we don't make this up. This is not made up. This is truth, right? Even like I say, you had a credible witness as well, who made who backed it up, what he said, backed up the point. So we're going to end off one more to end it off, and we're going to take that one from we want 1 Corinthians 15. 1 Corinthians 15 and 24 says, then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdoms to Yahweh, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. Right? And that's basically the end. Right? That's going to be the end of all the kingdoms, the authorities of Esau. Right? Hence all them that came and fell. The ancient Babylonians, the Medes and the Persians, the Grecians, the ancient Romans, they all came, and they was always on borrowed time, an egg timer. So likewise, this last one here, which represents Sodom and Gomorrah, the revived Romans, right? And what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities? The neighboring cities was Zeboim, Admah, and as a matter of fact, let's go and double check, get that neighboring cities. I always try to remember them. Genesis chapters, and it actually tells you the neighboring cities. So we had Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Sodom means burning, Gomorrah means submersion, Admah means red earth, Zeboim, that's the one, means gazelle, right? And that is where Lot was told to go and hide in Zoar, which means insignificant. So that happened, right? With Sodom and Gomorrah, they were burnt up, and all the neighboring cities, right? Likewise, that's what's going to happen again, right? Fuel, they all they are is this place is going to be left tumbleweave, right? Tumbleweave and dust going through, right? Represents a symbol. It's going to be a symbol of what happens to a kingdom that is extremely wicked, right? Just like all those other 5 cities along with Sodom and Gomorrah, right? We saw that as an example. So then cometh the end when he shall have delivered. Read it one more time and then we're going to end the video. 1 Corinthians 15 and 24. Then cometh the end when he shall have delivered up the kingdoms to Yahweh, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. The word of Yahweh, B'Hashem Yoshai, Kala Yahweh, B'Hashem Yoshai, B'Hashem Rakah. But I hope it was edifying to all the Akim. So yeah, we have authority. They've seen them and they're shook, right? The Most High's army, and he's a muster of he muster up the host of the battle. Yahweh Sabaoth, right? Host of armies, because he is a man of war, right? Likewise, his angels too. So yeah, just a little a taste of what's to come. And I like that part. That the main part was when they was walking, the angels came down on the strip, and they was walking, and they had an air about them, like as if they've never been conquered. So they were strutting their stuff, man, in the power and spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yoshai. So we can meditate on that, and we can draw comfort and draw encouragement, right? And we can lift up our heads because we know our deliverance is getting near. The word of Yahweh B'Hashem Yoshai once again putting the spirit on me to do this video. It's on to the next. Just an example of the authority and power that the Most High have. Yahweh Sabaoth mustereth up the battle. So he's a man of war, and he's returning with his host of armies, man. To the next one.